It's after Labor Day here in the Detroit area, which means it's cider mill season.
My favorite.
I don't know about favorite, but it's
favorite.
certainly an interesting time of the year. But we're out here near the Paint Creek Trail where we haven't tried any of the cider mills. So this one is the Goodison Cider Mill. It's the first one we're going to try today. So why don't you come along on the journey. I'm Darryl.
And I'm Renee.
And this is R&DW Adventures. So we stopped into the tiny little shop over here. Not very COVID friendly, I might add.
No.
And as people are crowding in there because it is such a small spot. But we grabbed our half gallon of apple cider, and the big thing at
sparkly.
At most of the cider mills are these cider mill donuts. It's a very unique thing, and everyone has a little bit different take on it.
Right.
And of course, we have to get the ones with cinnamon because they're the best.
Like our wedding cake.
So let's try the actual cider.
No bees.
Yeah, lots of yellow jackets flying around. They love this stuff.
I gave them their own cup, but they're still in my face.
It's good cider. Not great.
It's red apples.
I'm going to say that this is only a 3.
I'd give it a 3. It tastes like almost not ready. Like it didn't...
No, I think it's ready. It's just not what we usually like. And there's a lot of different apple cider. We don't tend to like good. the really sweet stuff like the Honeycrisp.
What did they call this?
This was Molly something.
Molly Delicious.
Molly Delicious and something else.
Something I've never heard of before.
Yeah, and usually you do blend 2 different types of apples to get a better flavor because one is a little bit boring. The only one I really know of that they do singular is the Honeycrisp.
Right.
Which makes just a really sweet,
it's
to
good
me,
to cook with.
Nasty kind of
no,
apple
it's good
cider.
to cook with. It's like juice. It's more, I mean...
But it's so sweet.
I mean, it's all like juice. This isn't the alcoholic cider, but...
Right.
But
yeah,
it's
and
more
we
like...
should mention that for those of you who might be outside of the area, because in a lot of parts of the world, cider refers to the hard cider is what we call it here, where it's the alcohol version.
Right.
This is non-alcoholic. This is just apple juice,
right.
basically.
And when
it's pure apple juice.
Right, pure apple juice. When you go to the cider mill, like the apples have been picked, they press it right there. This one doesn't have it where you can see it happening, but...
well, actually, people are going into the little shed over here and watching the pressing.
Maybe we can see it. Maybe we'll show you some of that later if we can figure that out. But they actually press the fresh apples, and it's like, we call it apple cider, but it's really fresh apple juice.
Well, and it's not filtered and everything like apple juice is. But we got to try the donuts.
Yes, absolutely.
And we need to add, the donuts have to be eaten right away.
Right, because
you can't let them sit.
They're these aren't hot, but they're still definitely fresh. I'm giving it a 4.
Oh, you got a swimmer.
Oh my God, he's totally swimming. I'm not drinking.
I'm gonna give this a 1. I think this is one of the worst
ciders.
No,
yeah.
The
donut.
The donut. This is one of the worst cider mill donuts I think I've ever had.
It's a little greasy.
It's very greasy.
Okay, I change it.
It tastes a little rancid.
Rancid?
Yeah.
Old oil?
Yeah.
I mean, when I tasted it at first, I loved the texture of it, but I feel like I put lip gloss on. So I gave it a 4 when I tasted it. When I first put it in my mouth, I liked the way it felt. But now I can still feel it, and I don't really like that part. So I'm giving it a 2, because it had hope.
So let's see if we can get a little bit more look around here, and then we're off.
So we're here now at Paint Creek Cider Mill to try this cider and another cinnamon donut, because that's what we do.
So, before we really get into that, one of the cool things about the Paint Creek Cider Mill is it's right off the Paint Creek Trail.
It's a really nice trail, too.
And aside from being a cider mill, it's also like a little restaurant.
And they have a very...
Not quite fast food, it's definitely not table service.
Well, he brought it out to them.
Right, but it's you know,
yeah,
they have this whole little area. It's more of a like summer into fall kind of thing.
And they have ice cream.
Yeah, so
and a pumpkin milkshake
that
I want to try next time. It's an awesome
place to stop if you're on the Paint Creek Trail for a little refresher and maybe a little bit of motivation. You know, start at one end, come here, and take off. But let's give the cider a try, which I'm not even sure if they actually press it here. I think they do. Oh, this is so much better.
Oh my goodness, way better.
This is such a difference.
This is really good. I'd actually drink this
I think
one.
I'm only giving it a 4.
I give it a 4. It's not
as good as some of the others that I've had,
But
but
it's
it
way
is
better.
really good.
then.
The
Yeah.
texture so far, just even touching this donut, is a lot better.
That's very true.
Very night and day.
Very. This is. It's good. It's crunchy.
This is what it should be. That said, I like some of the others better.
I'm still giving it a 4.
I'm going to give this a 4 as well, but this has more of like a churro flavor.
I was gonna say it's the batter is actually a cinnamon donut. Maybe that's the difference with this and the other one. This one's actually a cinnamon donut with cinnamon sugar on top.
It's more than that. This is, I think, a little fresher.
Yeah, well that too.
But it's not greasy like the other ones.
Right.
It's still a greasy donut, but it's
Right.
not that greasy.
I meant from their choices inside. It looked like they had 3 choices of donuts, so I think they had a plain donut, a cinnamon donut, and a cinnamon donut with cinnamon sugar. Like a plain donut with cinnamon on it, and then a cinnamon donut, which is actually, I think, what this is. I'm not 100% sure. We could go back in and try the rest of the donuts, but we're not going to.
No, we're not.
We
'Cause
could.
we do want to try some more cider mills this season. We haven't really done this, and quite frankly, if it weren't for the channel, we wouldn't be doing this today either.
But I must say, this is much less busy than the other one that we go to is always crowded,
Yeah,
and
Franklin's
there's
Cider Mill is really bad.
more bees than there are people, and more people than I care to be around, even when it's not COVID season.
Now, this one we have been to before, but not as a cider mill.
Right.
We've
I think
only
we had
been
lunch
here for lunch
when we
as
were
a
on the
stop
trail.
on the Paint Creek Trail. So we can attest to that. That's a really good option. And what better way to take a break from your trail ride? Geocaching or pedaling, or they actually do allow horses, I think, on this part of the Paint Creek Trail.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, so, grab
Horses,
some...
dogs. I mean, it's a...
Yeah, it's an open-use rail trail.
Nice.
So, yeah, this one
I
gets
really
a
like
thumbs
this
up
trail.
for me, for sure.
Definitely.
It's a 4-4 on both, from both of us.
We're in agreement.
So our final cider mill today is going to be the Rochester Cider Mill. Again, this is the first time we've been to this one as well. So we were kind of surprised when we got here. This is a cool, like, farmer's, not really farmer's market, but like a farmer's roadside stand kind of
Pretty much.
feeling.
You can buy all kinds of things here.
They have all kinds of farm goods. They got some other cool apple and honey and even popcorn.
Yeah.
Not like popcorn
Like interesting
pre-pop,
popcorn,
but
right.
popcorn to pour into your own hot air or kettle or whatever and do it yourself. So we like this one ambiance-wise the most because it is very much like most of the cider mill memories that we have.
Absolutely.
But let's give the actual cider a try because that's
Before
where
the
the
bee goes
metal, the rubber hits the road. That is way sweeter than the other two.
It's sweet and tart,
I like the combination.
but it's almost too sweet.
I'm thinking it's not one I'm going to drink much of because it is too sweet.
But it's really good.
I'm still going to give it a 4
I'm going to give it a 4.
because I like the flavor.
I do like the flavor. I don't think I could drink a lot of it, but I like the flavor.
Now, this is, I think, going to be not so good. Their donuts don't look as fresh.
They don't feel as fresh.
They don't feel as fresh. They're still really good.
They are really good.
This might be one of those rare apple cider donuts
I think that's what it's
that actually does pretty well
when it cools off.
when it's cooled down.
That being said, I think these were way better when they were hot, but I can't
I'm
figure
giving
out.
this a 4.
I think this is an apple. I mean, the sugar, it tastes appley. The donut tastes like apple cider.
Good cinnamon flavor.
I would give
Everything
this a
about
4.
that I like.
I think it would have been way better when it was hot, but it's really good.
But I don't think you rated it.
I gave it a 4.
A 4? Okay, so we're both 4s on
Well,
that.
4. So, for very different reasons, we're tied with. Was it Paint Creek?
Paint Creek
Yeah.
was 4-4 on both. I only gave the cider a 3.5 though.
You gave it a 4, but 3.5.
No, here. I'm saying this one I only gave a 3.5. I think the Paint Creek cider was better.
I agree. I like this one, but it's too sweet to drink a lot of.
Exactly. I like the flavor. I almost give this a 4, but because it's too sweet, I downgrade it. If it weren't so sweet, flavor-wise, I think this would have been a 4.5.
Right, because I think it has that sweet tart flavor, but it goes like sweet tart sweet.
So if you like sweet, I would say this one might be your winner. But it is the cheapest of the 3.
Yeah.
The ambiance is better.
These donuts with the Paint Creek cider.
And we would have been in better shape.
Absolutely.
Especially if the donuts were fresh. So
we'll have to come in the morning.
Come to Rochester Cider Mill in the morning and check it out. I think that's going to be the one to do of these 3. And we'll probably check out more later. But all 3 of these are, we maybe drove 15 minutes from the first to the last.
Absolutely. They're really close to each other.
Now, we spent a lot more time at the various cider mills, but the actual drive time was almost nothing.
Right.
All right, so make sure to stay subscribed. Hit the button over here to stay subscribed to our channel. And then over here, we're going to drop more of our junk fooding videos. Because even though this is more of like a travel thing, it's really our junk fooding thing.
It's a taste test travel.
And if you've been to cider mills in the area or wherever you are, let us know what your favorite cider mill is and what you like doing at the cider mills, because it's a lot different in different locations.